Okay, it's not morning anymore, so I shouldn't say good morning, good afternoon, almost. So it's Saturday. Wilson and I are excited to be up here to introduce some fantastic speakers. And so Wilson has prepared some thoughts on a PowerPoint that I'm going to read, and then we'll introduce Kevin and Bronwyn. So can she flip the slide? Can Julie hit the slide? It's time to turn the slide. Give Julie the power, man. Wilson, this is why he's not telling me, because I forgot a part. So Wilson uses a switch. We teach together. And the switch isn't long enough to reach the computer to hear. And so we can't use the switch. Did you want to show the switch? There's the switch. So I was supposed to talk about the switch and why we can't use the switch because it's not long enough. There's not a laptop up here. However, Julie will be hitting the next one. So now, is it good to turn the slide? Yes. Okay. Whew. Okay. So Wilson Buswell is an activist for social justice, teacher at University of Colorado, and a catalyst for change. Wilson and I, he said I could embellish on the teaching part a bit. So Wilson and I teach class called Teaching to Students with Significant Support Needs for Inclusive Futures, and we teach it every semester at UCCS, and Wilson is an awesome co-teacher with me and keeps it interesting and lively and teaches the students more than I ever could. So that's what we do together. Okay, you can turn it. I'm Christy Casa Hendrickson. I'm Wilson's co-teacher. I learn from him every day that we have a chance to be together, and I'm also a disability rights activist. Can you change it? And so now we're going to say something about Kevin and Bronwyn. So today you get to hear about two friends who have been friends for a very long time. You get to hear about their adventures and how they have developed and changed over time. And really, I think, spend some time thinking about the lessons that come from the importance of inclusive communities and inclusive opportunities for all people, and what each person learns from experiences of friendship together. Could you turn the slide? Because they're going to learn more about these guys when they're up there, right? So we shouldn't say too much. Yes. Okay, so Wilson wrote a couple quotes. A couple days ago, him and I got together, and he wrote a couple quotes really talking about this idea of friendship. And so the top says, thoughts on love, connections, and hope. And so Wilson wrote, openness, opportunity, and connection dares a person to learn to be a friend. You ready to go to the next one? Are you ready to go to the next one? Let me go to the next one. There's one more quote. You wanted me to say something about this? You ready to go to the next one? Yes? Okay. Next one. And then he wrote, friends bring zest to life, which I thought was awesome. So I think we're going to learn about some of that zest here by welcoming Bronwyn and Kevin. Come on up.
I'll turn you.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we're getting close to the step. Thank you guys very much for that awesome introduction. Wills, thanks for... Oh, we have more music for you guys.
Okay, I can get it from here.
Are you sure? Wilson, be careful. I think that's my phone. That's embarrassing. I'm going to put that over here. So we're going to wait for just a second to make sure the computer switch goes off with... Oh. The good thing is there's rails. That's good news so far. Did everybody enjoy their breakout session? Yes. Awesome. Good to hear. When you coordinate things like that, it's always good to hear that you're enjoying things. So, thanks. Did you do detect displays? Well, I guess we could at least kind of introduce ourselves first.
Okay.
You want to start, Kev?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kev. Thank you for being here today to listen to us. I am Kevin Wagner. I am 29 years old, and I work at the Denver Center for Performing Arts. I work under several departments there.
And I'm Bronwyn Buswell, and I've met a lot of you already. I work at Peak Parent Center and I help coordinate conferences. And yeah, we're just really excited to be here, and we're excited for you guys to listen to us. And we have a video to show at some point. So, Raj, do you want us to keep waiting, or can we dive in? Okay. So I have a flash drive in my briefcase next to you, Caitlin. And if you could just dump that QuickTime movie at least, and maybe Christy, we could use your computer. Okay. Thank you. Technology, you know, we're all learning about it and how it sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So Kev.
Yeah.
I bet people are kind of wondering why we're here. So I think we should start by telling them kind of how we first met.
Okay. I met Bronwyn when I was very young. We were like family friends, and so I was about 7, and Bronwyn was 5 years old, and so and I asked Bronwyn to come up to this amazing camp that I went there from my elementary school. So I asked her if she wanted to come to camp, and it's called Cabin Camp, and that's why this toad is here.
Yeah, we'll tell you more about this toad in a little while.
Yeah.
So then, didn't your...
So my mom and Barb Buswell.
My mom.
And they met at a conference, the Peak Center, Parents Encouraging Parents, and we were like family friends, and they figured it out. They called Anne Breckenridge and said, hey, we want Bronwyn to come up with Kevin to go to camp with me. And so Anne said yes, Bronwyn can come up.
Yeah. And Anne Breckenridge is the director of this camp, and she was also your teacher, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was like my first, second, third grade teacher.
Yeah. So we've known each other a really long time, but we haven't always kept in touch. And so I think it's really interesting to think how our friendship is still alive today, even after not being in touch for so many years. Last year, Peak asked me to interview Kevin for an article in our newsletter, and even though we hadn't talked to each other really for almost 20 years, I wasn't really nervous about the meeting, and when I went to meet with him, it felt like no time had passed. When I first met Kevin, we lived in different cities. I lived in Colorado Springs and he lived in Denver. So when we got to see each other, it was really precious, kind of sacred time. And as Kevin said, he invited me to come to camp with him. And I accepted, and we attended camp together. Because I lived in Colorado Springs and the camp was just in the mountains of Denver, I'm kind of having some feedback. Kevin also invited me to stay at his house, so we could just go up to camp easily every day. And I'm fairly certain if you ask Nita, Kevin's mom, if she'd tell you that she's still recovering from the lack of sleep that she got that week. Because Kevin and I were always on the go from the moment we woke up until we finally kind of closed our eyes at the end of our busy days. How did you feel when I called you out of the blue after like 20 years and said, hey, can I come up and interview you?
It feels like really great. Bronwyn called me, and I really want to connect back and see how you are and like to hang out and stuff. And so the moment when Bronwyn walked in to my condo, we just tell like memories and stories about Cabin Camp. And she was the same Bronwyn that I know, the same 5 years old Bronwyn.
Oh, yeah.
And she still is.
Yeah, I still am. I won't deny that. I still feel like a 5-year-old. Hope I stay like that for a long time.
Yeah.
And we loved Cabin Camp so much that, you know, I think we really just kind of got that about each other, and so immediately had all these awesome memories to reflect about. So I can still remember when we first met, and just learning about all the things we had in common. As with most all young kids, I love to play and to be on the go. I had lots of energy, and I remember being really drawn to Kevin's fun-loving energy and his creativity, and I kind of finally felt like I met someone who could keep up with me. Kevin loved to be creative, and together we kind of turned every place we went into our own personal playgrounds, and it was really fun. And additionally, right before I met Kevin, I had played my first season of soccer. And you know, I was like playing like with tennis shoes on. I was like that kid without cleats and stuff, just trying it out. And I totally fell in love with the game. So I went and stayed with Kevin, and Kevin had like shin guards and soccer cleats, and I thought they were the coolest thing. And so every time I walked into Kevin's house, the first thing I did was put on his soccer cleats, and I never took them off. And
yeah, she never took off the cleats. Even we went out to dinner, she still wore that cleats at the spaghetti factory.
I really liked them.
Yes.
I'd never seen cleats.
We cannot take them off one.
So why did you want to invite me to camp? What did you think? Why did you think I would enjoy camp?
I knew Bronwyn will love Cabin Camp because I knew you are really good learning and are the acting kind of girl.
An action kind of girl, and you're an action kind of guy. So
Yeah. I mean, we're like these two. I mean, me and Bronwyn just like just two little kids and having fun. And I knew Bronwyn will love Cabin Camp because of the toad here, which we'll talk about.
Yeah,
And we laugh all the time.
yeah. So Cabin Camp was really special, and I think it's almost impossible to explain it to anyone without having been here, but none of you have been there, so we're going to do our best to try. Cabin Camp was an immensely formative part of my childhood, and I don't think, Kev, I could ever fully express my thanks to you for introducing camp to me. The camp founder, Anne Breckenridge, who Kevin talked about earlier, just really wanted all kids to love playing and being outside and loving the earth. And she really thought that kids learned best during play, real-life activities, exploring. And we played really hard. So kids from Denver would get bused up to the mountains. That's where the camp was. It's just near outside Conifer. And we would sing and we'd play and be creative all day long. So on any given day, you might have campers creating art projects at the art barn, shooting guns or arrows at the shooting range, creating plays at the drama barn. There were all different kinds of activities you could do. And you could even maybe see kids doing a belly flopping contest at the waterfront. You just never knew. And at Cabin Camp, we were all free to be and expected to be ourselves, no exceptions. And everybody was expected also to participate. If there was a factor that seemed like it might limit someone's access to participation, we all came together, counselors, campers, everybody, and brainstormed ways to make sure that everybody was included and could participate. What do you think, Kev? Why was Cabin Camp so special to you?
Because Cabin Camp is so special because it's where we made a lot of different friends. We all love to hang out. We could just be ourselves. Everyone was happy that everyone is different. And always listen. Listen to us and let us have fun our own way. And don't always tell us what to do. If we told Anne something, she listened, and she listened to us. She always believed in kids. And it fills our hearts with joy. It helped us find our dreams. We did art and drama. Now I'm working at the Denver Center Performing Arts. I work with little kids. I knew how important it is to play and have fun when we're little. Anne taught me so many things like how to take risks and be safe. She let me to do lots of stuff, like on my 16th birthday. Everybody likes to drive on their 16th birthday, right? So one day, I invited up my parents and my friends, Annie and Ellen. We went up and to camping camp, and then me and Anne was starting to talk, and say, you like to drive the tractor? So, like, my mom and my dad and everyone was eating at a table, and me and Anne disappeared with Anne and Ellen. So I got in the tractor. I drove the tractor up at the camp, and then so I rode on the main road of the main cabin, and my mom looked out of the window, and she said, "Holy crap, Kevin's driving a tractor."
Anne was awesome at always thinking about, ways to be creative and drive tractors, and you just never knew what you were going to get. I loved my first session at camp so much that I really thought my older brother Wilson, who you guys just met and have met probably, should come too. Wilson's 3 years older than me, uses a wheelchair, and when I came back from camp and said, "Mom, I really think, Wilson should come to camp," and she said, "I'm not sure that mountain camp is really set up for kids who use wheelchairs." And I said, "Why isn't Wilson good enough to come to this camp?" And she said, "I guess I don't really have an answer for that." So she called Anne, the director, and said, "Hey, I want my son to come use his wheelchair." And Anne said, "Cool, bring him up." Like, no questions, no comments, no nothing. So she accepted Wilson as a camper without any hesitation. The first year Wilson attended camp, it was amazing because there was a lot more problem solving and creativity than barriers and limitations. And every morning we had to go up a huge hill to sing songs and have announcements, and we pushed Wilson up that hill every day. It's not like we changed where the meeting was, right? So we were all really creative, and the one rule was that Wilson participated in everything just like every camper. Shooting range, my mom was thrilled to hear about that. And this kind of philosophy that Cabin Camp showed me about unwavering inclusion and really an authentic acceptance of all diversity lives really passionately in me today, and I think Kevin and Wilson probably feel the same. So camp was really busy, as we've kind of alluded to, and everybody had to contribute. I'm trying to think of some ways that we each contributed, Kev. What do you think? You know this.
So, like, we were campers and we played hard, but now we're all counselors.
Yeah, we eventually became counselors.
Yeah, and so we go out, get our kayaks, out in the pond, and there were like leeches, and we had to pull up the seaweed from the pond, and we all raked the sand on the beach, and
We cook meals.
and we cooked meals,
and clean up
lunch,
meals.
dinners.
And this was all in addition to wrangling around the campers all the time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was really busy.
hanging around the campfire.
And so what do you think, Kev? Did Anne have different expectations of you than of any other camper?
No,
And so she didn't give you any, like, you didn't have any excuses to use because you had a disability. You still had to do everything.
I still gotta do everything like, yeah, because Ann said, no, Kelly needs to do the counselor's job. He can't get out of it.
Yeah. And what about the campers and just the other people at camp? Were they ever allowed to treat you differently because
No.
you had a disability?
No,
Yeah.
they can't.
Yeah. Anne was always really good at framing things so people could ask questions and understand, and really that disability barrier, as it may seem to some, was non-existent. But it wasn't just disability. Each person that attended camp brought a really unique perspective, a unique life experience, and so it made every day at camp really interesting and exciting. Kevin opened the door for me to attend camp, which then allowed me to open the door for Wilson to attend camp. And I really feel that my kind of inviting Wilson to become a part of the community was a really nice way to accentuate the values that already existed at Cabin Camp in a kind of a dramatic way. And I think that Wilson being a camper was a really rich and invaluable contribution to that community. And like Kevin said, we all eventually became counselors, and you can't really have campers if you don't have counselors. So that was pretty essential. So Kev, it is amazing, I still think, that 20 years have passed, and I still have such vivid memories in my head of camp, of Anne, of you and I spending time. What are some memories you have about camp and about that week I stayed with you?
We laughed on the way up to camp, and we laughed all the way home from, yeah.
Totally, and I remember Kevin and I were always those kids who got the whole bus singing both directions. So any adults that wanted to rest on the way home, we were not having that. We were keeping people excited.
Yeah, singing songs on the bus.
Welcome to the
To the cabin.
Welcome to the camp.
Cabin.
The cabin camp.
Cabin, we friends.
Yeah. So there were lots of camp songs too. We'll
Yeah.
spare you guys for now. So Kev, we should probably tell people about this little toad. And we have to
Okay.
thank Wilson for allowing us to bring this representation of Cabin Camp's mascot. Cabin Camp had a mascot called Old Man Toad. And as legend has it, Old Man Toad lived on the land at the camp. And he was a life-size toad that wore a white sheet over his head, loved marshmallows, and also loved playing tricks on all the campers and counselors. So the first day I arrived at camp, of course, Old Man Toad had a trick planned. Do you remember that trick, Kev?
Yes, I remember that trick. It's kind of well, I just want to say thank you, Wilson, you brought the toad.
We needed to have Old Man Toad's spirit in the
Yeah.
room with us today.
And also in the back, Dwayne. Dwayne was my first and second grade teacher of Ann Beckenridge.
So we should tell him, let's tell him about the trick.
We're going to tell you the trick. It's kind of like Bronwyn said, it's the mascot, and one day all the counselors played Old Man Toad, and me and Bronwyn was sitting down having lunch at lunchtime at the camp, and so and these counselors come out. We didn't know at the time because we didn't know.
We thought it was Old Man
pretend
Toad.
Or real.
So what did they do? They came into the pasture and
Yeah, and stole the
they
horses.
stole all the horses. And so then all the campers, are like running, trying to capture this
This horse.
sheeted figure running through the meadow.
And they got to say, okay, we got to get the horse back in.
And we got to try to get Old Man Toad.
Yeah.
So what happened later that night, like when we returned home from our day camp?
So later, me and Bronwyn was like sobbing, crying.
I was so
And-
scared of Old Man Toad. And Kevin had already attended camp for 2 years, and he was fine. So
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain that the whole ride home from camp, I was like perseverating about Old Man Toad, and he was going to come get us, and he was going to try to hurt us and steal us. I don't know what I was thinking.
Like Bronwyn tried to.
So then, so it
you
was,
tried to work me up.
I got you all worked up.
I worked up. So 'cause I've been going to camp for two years back then, and so she got me worked up. So
So we're crying.
so we're crying, and so my mom had to calm us down. She couldn't because Anne. My mom called Anne. She was living so close at that time. So my mom got on the phone and say, "Hi, Anne. This is Anita Wagner, and this is your mascot, and you need to put it into this right now."
So what time did Ann come over that night?
At 11 o'clock at night, and so Ann taught us about pretend and real. Like, you guys all seen movies, like Hollywood movies. This is one of them. This is like a Hollywood movie. So, it's kind of like this Old Man Toad is like a movie and stuff. So Anne say, okay,
So she kind of brought us into, like you said before, the backstage of the movie.
yeah,
And helped us kind of understand about Old Man Toad not being real. But
Right.
then what else did she do that I think is so cool?
she let us in with the secret of Old Man Toad, and until that day, me and Bronwyn played Old Man Toad tricks. We planned for like a trick on the campers and counselors.
And Kevin and I are very proud to say that we never spilled the marshmallows. We
Yeah.
kept it a secret. And I think it was really a beautiful way that Anne engaged us rather than threatening us and saying, don't tell any other campers and all this stuff. But she brought us into the secret and made us a part of the thing and engaged us to be even more a part of the community. What else do you remember, Kev, about us hanging out that week? You want me to help you out?
Yeah, thank you.
See,
This is like what we are all about, is having a true friendship, helping each other, and oh my God, she is still laughing. All the years.
so what else? What did we do when we came home from camp?
We
You know this.
we just when we come home, we played in my neighborhood, having water fights and riding bikes and riding on my big wheel, and that's all.
Bathing suit showers
suit
for
shower.
hours.
Shaving cream.
Shaving cream, finger paints.
Paint.
Did I ever wear the cleats in the shower?
Yes, we did.
I did?
Yes.
Oh, geez. I'm out of control. It was so much fun. I remember the bathing suit showers especially. And I also remember you never minding that I wore your cleats all the time, even though I totally wore down the tread. And I think that's just another nice kind of visual of our friendship. And I remember fun, and I remember laughter, and I remember tears because of Old Man Toad. But most of all, I just remember finding a friend who saw the world like I did as a playground, just waiting for players. So do you think we should show them that video we made?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to show you a short video that kind of gives you a little glimpse into our world at cabin camp. Maybe.
You got it, Rod?
You could stand up and play, Sean.
Second on the list. Rod?
Technology, I mean, it's intense.
You have to love technology.
We tried to have the computer set up here, but it didn't work, so. And you can make, if you go to view, you can enter full screen, press play, and then go to view. Or, that's good. And then just press play.
There you go.
Well, together we put this together on the idea that just I want kids to love playing outside and love the outdoors and love working together, because it seems to me that's the job on the planet. And this is a little microcosm where you can try it out. And it turns out loving the planet means you have to pick stuff up. But mostly it means playing really hard. And I think Connie spent the day catching people doing that in the pond and in the yard barn and riding horses, shooting guns, just loving to be outdoors and doing the fun stuff you're allowed to do outdoors. Now, living together in a community is a lot trickier subject, but I think kids really like that too, because they keep coming back to camp.
What are you making?
Oh, lanyard.
And what is that?
It's like whatever you want it to be.
What are you making yours for?
I'm not really sure yet.
Okay. Having fun?
Yeah.
Good. Bye.
Like,
Future artist here.
That's Kevin.
and see, I'm making a bracelet.
Oh,
Here's a finished one. Here's the next one.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
Well, it started with my own children, usually skiing down this hill and out across the dock. They built the dock, and in the winter they'd ski across the dock. In the summer, they started throwing all their friends out of boats. And as they got bigger, they decided it would be fun to keep that going. Yeah, we really have a lot of fun up here. Kids take away a lot of different ideas that they learn from each other. We've had counselors from Pakistan and France and Denver and California and Ohio. Children have an awfully good time here, and so do the counselors.
Ann, can you tell us who that is?
Old Man Toad.
Old Man Toad. And he is real special here to all the cabin campers.
I feel like we're all working equally hard. That's what's fun. From a 5-year-old who's new here to me, I think we're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to think up new ideas, ways to solve problems, ways to do things differently, and we make tons of mistakes, and so do the campers, and this is a good place for that. And we just work on our mistakes and try to figure out what to do.
You know, Kev, telling all these people kind of about our story today has made me think a lot about friendships and just kind of about what this all means. When Pete asked me to interview you last year, even though we hadn't seen each other forever, I wasn't really nervous. I had heard about some of the public speaking you'd been doing, and just I kind of heard about you in the disability rights advocacy movement, and so I knew we at least had that in common. And when I walked in your condo, it was like no time had passed. And as you guys probably all noticed, Kevin has Down syndrome and I don't. And I think the assumption would be, therefore, that I befriended Kevin, maybe through some kind of a program, special buddies or peer tutors or something. But as you've heard, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Kevin befriended me, and he invited me to come to camp with him because we had things in common. He was interested in me, and we became friends because of cabin camp and because of soccer cleats and bathing chute showers and because we both saw this world in the same way. I saw Kevin's gifts and his talents from a very young age, and he saw mine. And we were able really to capitalize on each other's unique gifts and our unique strengths to be able to kind of conquer anything. And I felt like that when I was with Kevin when I was younger, that there wasn't anything we couldn't do, and I really feel like that again today. What do you think, Kev? What do you think this all means?
I think understanding what friendship is all about just as important for people with disability it is for anybody. Friends need to like the same thing in common. Me and Bronwyn are both
Active.
are both active and like to have fun. She is a venture girl. I'm a venture guy. We were just two little kids having fun. Nothing different than other people's friendship. If you share memories or stories with someone, it holds you together for a long time or forever. Brian and I love adventures and being accident people that hold us together. The lesson here is that friendship is a two-way street. It should be normal, not fake. Bronwyn wasn't assigned to be my friend. She wanted to be my friend because she knew we were a lot alike each other. After all the years when we didn't see each other, we found out we still like each other and still like to do fun things. Bronwyn is still funny, and she still is. We laugh we laugh a lot. She doesn't make a big difference. She doesn't make a big deal about my disability.
You're right, Kevin. I mean, disability isn't a big deal. Friendships, I think, start when people have common interests or experiences that draw them together. They take work, and that work is freely given. One friend's not paid to be with the other friend, like, in some programs. People need to share space and share time in order for friendships to develop. They're a lifelong process. They're dynamic. They come, they go, they change. I think the amount of work you put into friendship and, in Kevin and I's case, the memories that we have make maintaining friendships a lot easier. And I think that Cabin Camp was a really perfect environment to foster just genuine friendships for all people. Friendships also have huge and powerful impacts. I mean, because of Kevin and I's friendship, Wilson was able to attend camp. And I think Wilson, I'm going to kind of speak for you, but I think camp really helped you, Wilson, emerge as a leader and an advocate. And he formed his own amazing friendships, while he was at camp. And Kev, we should do this sometime, but I think if we drew like a Cabin Camp family tree, starting just from Kevin and I, it would have hundreds, if not thousands of branches just from the two of us. And so I think it's kind of interesting to think about that and remember that friendships are really powerful and they're very interconnected and interconnecting. So do you think we should share that quote that we found about friendships?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Do you want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Each friend represents a world in us.
A world possibly not born until they arrive.
And it is only by the meetings that,
It is only by this meeting.
it's only by this meeting that a new world is born.
And I'm not sure how to say her name, so if someone knows how, Anais Nin said that quote. She's a female author, and I can honestly say that my world changed when I met Kevin. And I don't know where I would be today without the experiences that we've had as a direct result of our friendship. Is there anything else that we need to share with him?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, Roman, let's stand up for this one.
Okay.
I'd like to dedicate this presentation. Me and Bron would like to dedicate this presentation to a great teacher and friend, our camp director, Ann Beckenridge.
And we unfortunately lost Ann a few years ago. And one thing that Ann always said is, this is a direct quote from Ann. Yeah, next slide. I think it's really exciting when you let kids tell you their truth. And so
thank you for coming to our presentation
and just letting
and
us
to tell us our truth to you.
So thanks.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Ron.
Oh man, feedback.
And Barb Buswell, thank you for letting me and Bronwyn to do this presentation.
You took a
Thank
risk
you.
on that one.
Let's give her a clap. Barb Buswell.